Hi, it's Eve here. I'm the Director of Teaching and one of our meditation and mindfulness teachers here at Headspace. I just want to welcome you to this conversation series on fertility. I too am on this journey, and I'm not going to lie, it's really hard. So part of my motivation, our motivation here at Headspace, was to create a conversation series that really touches on some of the universal experiences that folks may encounter when they're on this journey. I am so honored to be joined by Rosie, my dear friend and fellow meditation teacher, and Shula, who is one of our incredible mental health coaches.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for having me.
In this conversation, we're going to be really digging into listening to the mind and body. And I'd just love to hear from you to kick us off. What does that mean to you both?
It can be a lonely club to be in, right? That's the first thing I think about when looking at the big picture of going through a fertility journey. When it comes to listening to your mind and body, I think for me, the experience has been, twofold. I've definitely had those moments where I trust myself and I trust the process and I really, put myself in a positive mindset. But then I've also had those moments where I'm like, I can't trust my body. I feel like I'm alone. I feel like my body's not doing what I want it to be doing. And what I've found helpful in this process is being able to sit with that and give myself the opportunity to feel how I'm feeling and not try to make things anything, not try to create a result, right?
Yeah. What I've been hearing and what I've seen is that a lot of times when you come up against these challenges with fertility, that, the first step might be to try to kind of flee from the feelings that you're having and to kind of dissociate a little bit in order to cope. And I think a lot of it is because we aren't really taught, or we don't have exposure to many tools about how to be self-compassionate during a time like this.
Yeah.
And during a process like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we spend so long growing up as, a young girl to, young woman, and the message is very much like, don't get pregnant. Don't get pregnant.
Yeah.
And you're like, right, must not get pregnant, must not get pregnant. And then my experience then when, start maybe trying to have a family, trying to get pregnant, and then it doesn't happen. You're like, oh.
Yeah, I think the process of even just learning about your body, right?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that I initially felt really bad about was, how did I not know this about my body?
Right.
Like, how did I not know that this is something that happens as you get older? And I wish I would have gone through this egg freezing process when I was in my 20s or even my early 30s. I wish I would have just asked more questions. I wish I would have known more.
You're not alone though. Honestly, like the amount of times I've walked away, whether it's an appointment or I've been doing research online, which honestly can not be helpful. And that feeling of, why did I not know this? Why did I not ask those questions? Why did I not do anything? And I'm so pleased like we're having this conversation to really empower and open up what is often a taboo topic.
Yeah. For me, I think what's really been helpful is feeling safe enough to have these conversations and feeling seen in the conversation with other women who have gone or are going through the experience. Because only when you're in that space can you really feel the comfort of, oh, somebody knows my pain or somebody knows the struggle. I think that this journey is not one size fits all.
Yeah. Throughout this process, the body scan meditation has just been so transformative for me. I'm not going to lie, really hard at times, because as we've been sharing, sometimes being in your body can be painful.
Yeah.
But it comes down to this two sides of the same coin. Like, can we hold ourselves in awareness with that compassion? Like compassion for what our body is doing, even though it can feel like, okay, it's not doing something.
Compassion is such a key element to it because, like you said, if you didn't have that information that you wish you had had in the past, right? You could go back and say, well, if only I'd had this information, if only I had done this, or if only it had been easier for me at this point in my life to get started, or whatever it is. If you're not able to have compassion for yourself at that moment, the mind can go there when you're trying to lie there and do a body scan, or even just kind of process where you are currently. But having compassion for that version of you that didn't know, and having compassion for yourself right now, wherever you are.
Yeah, no, I love that idea of being able to just meet yourself where you are.
Yeah, and we can guilt ourselves a lot. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing that. And there are so many pressures that we have to deal with, particularly as women. The time's running out, the clock's ticking. Oh, you don't have kids by 40? All these pressures that people put on ourselves. And how do we navigate that and put those boundaries up?
Yeah, I think other people's needs to know where you're at is not more important than you knowing where you are at in your own personal journey with this, right? I think the most important thing to do in that moment is to check in with yourself first and take a beat. You don't have to respond to that person right away.
But also, there are other people in your life, whether it's your partner you're doing this with, maybe it's family members who are supporting you on this journey, friends, and they see the stress and the anxiety and the worry. And of course, they'll hold that as well. And so when we're talking about listening to the mind and body, what does that look like for someone in your life who is on this journey with you?
I can speak to my experience. I mean, this for many years caused a big rift in our relationship because, this person doesn't want me to suffer, but they also, I feel like, don't fully understand because they're not in my experience. So it's like there's this level of understanding, and I think that we desire understanding when we're going through something difficult. So I think what was really helpful for us is to give ourselves a break of having these conversations. Every time we'd sit down and have breakfast, it was like, okay, so what are our options? What are we doing? And it was this constant stress, and I could see that it was stressing my partner out. And so we both agreed to have certain conversations, not every day, and to learn when the other person was feeling like having the conversation, and the other person, you can kind of meet each other by having communication.
Yeah. And I also think if you're feeling particularly tender one day, also letting your partner know, like, I'm having a really bad day today, and I just want to let you know ahead of time I'm having a tough time. Basically to tell them not to take it personally, but that you're going to take some time to take care of yourself, and invite them to do something to take care of themselves as well.
I love that.
That's good.
Yeah.
For this particular topic, that is all we have time for, but I would love to start to close our conversation, maybe just each sharing one or a few parting words for our amazing members.
I think for this particular topic of listening to your mind and body, I really love just tuning in and allowing yourself to be where you are. You're doing your best. You're doing great. Don't compare yourself to other people's journeys. Your journey is unique to you, and it's your own. And all of your feelings are valid. And it's okay that you can be okay one day and then the next day you're not. Or 1 hour you're okay and then the next you're not. So I would say to just really create a safe space for yourself.
That's so lovely.
Yeah, and being compassionate for where you are right now, self-compassionate for where you were when you made other decisions, and being sweet to yourself, because you're going to make the next best decision from a more grounded and loving place.
We have also created some amazing guided meditations and mindfulness exercises for this conversation. So check out the Listening to Your Body, Self-Compassion and Hope, and Preparing for a Procedure. We really hope that you find them supportive wherever you are on your journey. And thank you to our friends at Spring Fertility for helping us bring these conversations to you. So join us for our next conversation, which is going to be centered on talking about the isolation and the uncertainty that can surface when you're on this journey. So I look forward to seeing you back here then.